Okay, welcome everybody who are here on the stage and those who might be watching us either live today or later on in the recording. So this is
Hi,
our,
Alex.
hello everyone, hi guys. So this is our fourth festival of the April month, and our theme today is transformation. And today we're trying out something different. So we have thrown everything that we've done before, almost everything out, and experimenting and learning and really looking what would serve the vision. And the vision, of course, is us coming together in as larger numbers as we can possibly create, the possibility of, and really tap into our power that we now know we have for our thoughts and intentions and emotional states to have an impact on the reality. And so we're here today because we had a conversation with our main guest, Nicole, who I will introduce in a little bit more detail shortly. And it was quite interesting, and you can help me out if I forget, but you said something about, chaos, that you kind of bring chaos to the space, or you can kind of easily live with chaos. And I was like, wow, that's such an unusual thing to say, first of all. And then I was like really tuning in and wondering, what that really means. And for people that may be uncomfortable and some may think, well, chaos is something to be avoided, right? And when I really tapped in deeper, I thought, well, chaos is actually quite powerful. It's full of energy. And today, I'm sure when we come to the main keynote, we will hear a little bit more about that. And I realized, oh my God, that's actually what we need, for this space as well, to some extent, because we've been creating lots of structures, lots of order, with the idea to create this space as comfortable and as manageable, I guess, in a way, as we can possibly do. And now I think it's time to bring some chaos in. And I'm looking forward to exploring this. And our plan today is to play a little bit and to co-create and to really flow with how the space wants to flow. And we'll have a conversation, a connection at the beginning, and I'll give the floor to everyone to introduce themselves a little bit. And then everyone is welcome to stay a little bit longer for participating also in the keynote, in the interview, and we can explore this theme together. And of course, we have several live events happening as well soon. So Magdalena will be hosting her musical performance, and we have Katrin and also Denise or ICC hosting her event. So again, you'll be welcome to share a little bit more about that. But for now, once again, so much, welcome and thank you for being here in this space. And we have hosts here who are hosting their events. We have participants who've been joining us previously, and we're exploring some co-creations further. And we have also our potential partners, Loic and Lisa, who was one of the guests. So yeah, I would love to just hear briefly, why are you here, and what attracts you, and what is your offering to uplift the world in many different ways and forms that we all do that. So you'll just need to check if you're muted or not, because I've unmuted. I've muted everyone. So
I'm happy to jump in first, get the ball rolling. So
awesome.
Hi guys, Lisa here. Lisa Hamilton Smith. I am a dreams and passion coach. So basically, I am the possibility of everyone living their dreams. I want for everybody to actually get up every day and go, wow, I'm alive. And sadly, not everyone does that. So many people live lives where they feel they can never have more, they can never have what they truly want, that they have to put up with. And so I have a very unusual tool. I actually use equine empowerment to help people, and I do equine empowerment workshops in England. So that's one of the things that I do, but I am the possibility of living the dreams. So that's me. So I'm here to just support everybody who's listening, everyone on stage and everyone in the world, to look at life in a way that they can create a strategy for living an incredible life. And that's what I do.
Can I have a second shot? Hi everybody. I see All Things is my author alias, and I've written a book about my life coming out of a mind controlling cult, and that was 27 years ago. And so I've had to look at life, transform my life, and pursue my dreams, as Lisa was just mentioning, completely just being the boss in my own life, which felt very strange at first, having come away from a very domineering setup. And I think the system is as domineering, and it squashes the creativity out of you as well. So we've all got the same struggle to be authentic, live our dreams and be ourselves. But I've also got into music, so that's something even now that brings me joy in the morning. If I feel not so great when I first wake up, then I will just put my music on and start doing my singing practice. And I'm producing an album, so I get to do lots of things like music videos, and they're writing about all sorts of things. Obviously, you can write about transformation and releasing patterns from the past, but just put them to, more popular music, maybe alt rock or ballads and things like that. And that has transformed me, given me a purpose, and it brings me joy as well.
Thank you.
Okay, can I speak, please?
Of course.
Yeah. So happy to see everybody. It's beautiful to have also this point of light, this column of light everywhere in the world. I am now in India. I am in a pilgrimage, and I meet Alex because I take care of a group, All One Union. We propose a meditation the first of each month, mondial meditation, with people from all over the world. And now I am in a pilgrimage to meet some holy people, some sadhu and guru, and also holy places, to invite them to give the blessings for all people who are practicing for the light, for the consciousness, for the love and the peace. So this is my way now. And I invite you, if you want to join also the first of each month, particularly the 1st of May will be a Sunday. So it will be a big occasion with Alex and you to co-create an event where a lot of people will meditate together. And it's a beautiful be here and to meet you. I cannot stay a long time because I have some ceremony after, but I'm very happy to hear you and to see you.
Thank you for joining, and yeah, from that big distance, and we have a really nice range from different countries and different walks of life, and to me that's the most exciting thing, for us to be able to come together in all of our diversity and still focused and united with a common intention, which is for the common and the greater good. So thank you so much, Leek. And yeah, so feel free to drop off whenever you need to, and have a great pilgrimage. And I look forward to hearing how it's going to go sometime later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else?
I can join you. Welcome, everybody. It's an honor to be here with you in this space and time, in my room, in our room, in everybody else's rooms somewhere. So it's a very, very beautiful opportunity. My tool is transformation and music. But also over the last few years, I've been working closely with the Jinky synthesis, which is created by a wonderful mystic from South England, Richard Rudd. And somehow I've been drawn, asking a couple of years ago the universe for a map when I was lost, when I knew that some changes are coming in me and I don't understand, and somehow shy away from them and are terrified with them, but at the same time very excited about them. So the map presented, and one of the map which stayed with me strongly, actually all of them stayed with me strongly, but was the map of the hologenetic profile. And through that, I'm already helping particularly the Polish community, because I'm translating things and helping to share things in my mother tongue, and helping people to understand that transformational path from our own misery, which partly we create, but partly, as was said already, it is a part of the programming. And it's like we are now aware of the matrix. It's a time of leaving the matrix, stepping out. And I personally feel like majority of people probably, or many people, like being partly in a matrix and partly out of the matrix. And when I think that I'm out of the matrix, suddenly something slaps and says, "Oh no, you just think you are." So it's just like I feel like this is also something which helps me to relate with people when they feel stuck. And when they feel not very happy with themselves, said like, we need to be aware that we've been programmed and we are now aware. So we enter the very unknown territory. And the territory is leaving the matrix, and we don't know how to do it, and of course there are tools, there are strategies, but at the end we are the soul warriors and many different tools collecting on a way which work for us. And I feel like Jinky synthesis is one of them, and self-expression is one of them, between many others. I'm a creator, I'm a musician, I'm a singer, I recorded 3 albums, and I create lots of sacred music, which actually not many of that music has been recorded. So it is something probably when my vibration grows up, I will be able to better express it. And there is time when that will see the world maybe on a bigger scale. But it doesn't really matter what scale it is. It's just it's brewing inside of each of us, that creativity bubble and spring. And I want to bring people in alignment with that, because the way of transformation is being creative and being courageous, and it's very simple, but actually it is the hardest thing we can do. So I feel like this topic is very deep, and I had a very cathartic Friday, the first of the month, and the new moon was very, very, very strong for me. So I felt like I left some old stuff behind in that transformation theme. So I'm very much in it, and I'm really looking forward in my own personal life, what is the next step, but also for all of us in this current collective uncertainty and mess, what is our next step? And the next step is vision and trust. So I hope that it will manifest for more and more and more and more people. So thank you all who are doing the beautiful work already towards those steps. We are here to do that together too. And I'm passing my voice to the next beautiful people in the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. And wow, you said the next step is vision. guess what the next theme of May's festival is? Holding the vision.
Perfect.
So, that's, I mean, you know, things may change, but that's kind of what's there at the moment. So that's just such a perfect synchronicity there. So awesome.
Mm.
Okay, and Aline and Nicole.
I can go first. So my name is Nicole, but today I chose to write Ishtara, which is my womb name. So it's the name that I received in communion to my womb. I'm very grateful to be here in this Sunday morning here in Budapest, ancestral city for me. And resonating with what you said, Magdalena, this Friday new moon for me was actually very activating, and the ancestors were just speaking with me and showing different signs and different messages. And this is pretty much the core of my work, ancestral reverence. So to bring the alchemy and to ignite the wisdom that lives inside of us, inside of our original blueprint. So I actually, when I wrote the description for my bio for this beautiful container that you, Alex, created and it's holding, I've started reflecting after, and I think it's kind of time for me to kind of embody and not embody, but claim and voice that actually I'm a high priestess of the one with many names, Great Mother. So I'm going to use that today and voice that out. I'm also someone who brings into the container with the women and men that I work, this aspect of chaos and stillness. So this is what I'm not prepared for today, and this is part of the chaos because I really want to just be this vessel for what wants to come through, for who's in the container today, and just bring forward this alchemy that can support us in this transformation and rebirth and all that this month of April it's holding for us. And so yes, so I'm grateful, happy to connect with all of you, and to start my Sunday this way. It feels very beautiful, with all these beautiful new faces, and so thank you.
Thank you so much. Great to have you here. And yeah, of course, once again, a reminder that we will have a more kind of focused, themed conversation as well with Ishtara holding the space and sharing her path and wisdom. So tune in for that. And if you're watching us now or in replay. And Aline, welcome. So Aline was, as I mentioned, a participant in one of our previous months and has so generously and kindly connected with me and offered to co-create as well. So thank you so much for joining here today, and potentially also hosting something as well, I understand. So.
Yes, so I'm a translator, and I actually work for a well-being-based life, which is oriented on arts, multilingualism, and the learning of languages, and how it can actually enhance our lives. So I practice meditation every day in almost everything that I do. So this is truly why I was thrilled and impressed by this platform, and that I truly wanted to be in and to meet others that were aiming at improving the world by trying to develop a kind of awareness of everything that we can actually implement and integrate into our life to improve it in small things and in higher things as well. So in short, I do believe in a balance between arts, support being overall, and translation and the learning of other ways to think, to speak, and to be. And this is what I advocate as a translator every day and as a linguist. So that is about what I have to offer and what I base my life on and my reflection of life. So yes, and yeah, and I research on multilingualism for peace, which is very actual nowadays. Of course, we're all very affected in a lot of ways by everything that is happening right now in Ukraine. So that research has a more a deeper impact right now. Yes, it's about.
Thank you. You've touched upon so many important topics there, and of course, yeah, it is. You could say like a nested experience where, where we have the individual well-being, and then the communal, the societal, and then the global, right? Which is
Layers,
kind of the
yes.
context within which we're here today, right? But it encompasses all those other ones. So thank you so much, and look forward to.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And right, so here we are, all joining this space with our own paths, our own perhaps intentions or different angles, right? And that's in a way the beauty and also the challenge. How do we create a space that holds both the diversity and that common core? And as I mentioned, the very ultimate vision is for us to come together in as large numbers as we can possibly come together, right? And I mean, isn't that a bit of a crazy idea and a crazy vision, right? It's like, how do we accomplish that, right? It's like, yes.
I don't think it's a crazy idea at all. I went to sit in a circle yesterday with 8 women, actually, it turned out it was just women. And the guides were coming through, spirit guides, and basically saying thank you for us coming together, because the power of the circle, I mean, there were 8 people, which is a powerful number of love and eternity, but obviously the more people that can join in intention and spirit, the better, because they said it's only when you join with us that we can raise the vibration and have the positivity cancelling out the great negativity and the greed. They mentioned the greed on the earth as well. And then we had a lot of themes going around in the 2 meditations that we did as a group, and water came out as being one of the top ways that we can heal the earth. So they were explaining that if we just bless the water, it's a very simple thing. We can do it every day. So every time you drink some water, or you go and walk by the lake or something, you can just say a blessing. And they said that the water will carry the emotion of healing and love to the earth, and obviously that ripples out to all of humanity. So that was such a great thought. We don't have to get all intellectualized about all these healing things. It's just the simplicity of grounding, remembering that we're connected, to each other and to Earth, Mother Earth, and just send out the feeling of love and peace to each other and the water, and of course at nature in general. But it's just really simple thoughts that came out of that. And there's a lot going on behind the surface, obviously, but we're just able to contain something like that and make a difference in the world.
Thank you. And yeah, this reminded me actually, one of today's events hosted by one of the hosts in the festival community is about fire. So, you know, there are all these elements that have their own different unique qualities, right? And actually, perhaps now building on from that, it's a good opportunity to say a few words about the bigger space here, right? Because now here we are in the central stage, but the vision is that we can come together in our diversity in different languages, with different practices, you know, in different countries, different traditions, and yet do it all together in the same moment, because that's ultimately what matters, that we are in elevated state in focusing on the same vision. And that was the original inspiration that has propelled me into this path, and has really been quite a strong influence in my life, and sometimes not knowing, you know, why and how and why me and what for. And yet, you know, this has come about this way, and we can only achieve that with some kind of clever way to organize this space so it isn't too chaotic, which is again linking with our conversation today, which, by the way, is one question that I had as well. It's like, well, is there some kind of golden middle ground where there's this balance between chaos on one side and order on one side, which both in two extremes can be very confusing, right? So we'd love to touch upon that later on as well in our conversation. Magdalena, you're saying?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little, kind of talking about the chaos from the Jinkies perspective. It's a shadow, but every shadow contains the gift. And on the other spectrum, the highest spectrum, you know, the Siddhic spectrum, the divine power spectrum, that highest self spectrum, is innocence. And then the chaos leads towards innocence. What is in the middle is playfulness and inventiveness. So actually the chaos leads into being more inventive. And so I see it as, you know, if you have children, you know what I mean. And you can imagine that you have the room full of Lego. Yeah. And some people hate them and some people love them. Yeah. So the room is full of Lego, and it's just like, what a mess, what a chaos, you know, this you know, and then in the middle of that sits a little boy or girl and just creates and invents and new things, you know, and it's just actually it's just built, and the process of building is not necessarily having a vision and in instructions. This is one way, but in other way it's just like all out of all of those colors, what if I mix the pink with the gray and this and that and this and that, and suddenly you don't have to know immediately what it's going to look like. But for the child, it's not a matter, the end effect, it's the playfulness. It's the act of playfulness. And then out of that emerges more and more vision, and suddenly it gets better shape. Yeah, it's like, and I love that archetype, that the chaos is at the bottom of any transformation into being more inventive, more creative, potentially being a divine child, just innocent and playful and positive. And I love that path, you know, that transformation path, that we don't have to look at chaos as something terrible, messy, and whatever. It is, but it's not, you know, it has the gift in it. So depends how you want to come. You can come to the room and say, okay, right, maybe it's time to clear the room, and then do it in a playful way as well, you know, just to select all the pink bricks and the gray bricks and whatever system you have, and suddenly you create an order. You create a space which is more, you know, more you will feel more comfortable with, and then the next time the idea comes, you just, you know, find a way how to how to deal with that creative impulses in us and what we need to create something inventive, playful, and so on and so on. So this is my little impact. I will be talking about it during my part of today's sharing about that transformation path a little bit deeper. But it's just bounced up, and I just could not bite my tongue and not to share it with you. Thank you.
Excellent.
I love that. I love that. I just wanted to add to that. You know, I think that we, you actually sometimes need to create chaos. Well, we do create chaos when we think big, because the moment we have an idea, if we have a big idea, you know, and Alex, this Global Unity Festival was a big idea. And the moment you had this concept, like a whole bunch of problems came, like, how do I do that? Who do I get the people? Well, who's going to join? How's it going to work? And it's actually out of chaos that then we break the mold. It's only, I mean, if we just carry on, I mean, back to people living their dreams, if we just carry on with our normal job, with our sort of okay life, but it's not so great, nothing changes, and we just wake up one day and we're 85 and it's over. But it's often when people have problems, it's often when things go wrong and chaos enters their life, that they are forced to step up and break through and become somebody they never would have become, and then they might change the world. And I just want to mention this idea of, I'm a massive Bob Proctor fan, and he talks about type C goals, you know, like not the kind of SMART goal where, oh, you know, in a year I'm going to be able to do this and make that and do. It's all audit, right? He talks about type C. Well, actually, we could call them chaos goals, where you have a goal so big, it's completely unrealistic. Like, you want to fly to the moon. And you're like, well, I'm not an astronaut. I can't do that. How am I ever going to do that? But in creating, and we're going to use the term chaotic goal, something completely crazy, then incredible things can happen. Maybe or maybe not, you don't actually get that goal in the end, but the journey will be amazing, because it pushes us out of our comfort zone and it pulls to us extraordinary things, extraordinary support, spiritual and otherwise, that wouldn't have happened. For example, the Wright brothers, you know, they wanted to fly, right? Everyone said they're mad. Man can't fly. What if they'd listened? What if they'd, you know, listened to people telling them that? Same with Thomas Edison. You can't have electricity, you can't have electric light bulbs, or the television. Think of all the incredible inventions in the world. They only happened because somebody had a sort of, again, chaotic idea that did not fit the narrative, and they thought bigger. And so I think chaos is an essential part of the creative process. So I love what you just said.
Yeah, and I wanted to add to that too, actually, because I was thinking of the play that Magdalena was mentioning. And when I was in Cyprus a few weeks ago, I was walking along on the beach when the sun was shining behind me, it was setting, and my shadow was following me along on the water. So as my feet were just on the edge of the water, the shadow had shadow feet, and it was walking on the water. And I suddenly thought, oh, this is playful. And I started taking more, you know, videos and shots of that. And then when I got back, I thought, oh, we need to look at our shadow side, our dark side, and balance it all out. And maybe I can write a poem about that. So from that playful moment, you know, came a poem, and then I've turned it into a song. And, you know, the music could be uplifting, but the thought behind it might be quite deep. If you want to look that far, you know, is to transformation is looking at your shadow and seeing things mirrored back to you that you're not comfortable with always, or dealing with traumas and things that you've had in the past, but not allowing them to weigh you down in the way they used to, because you're playing with them. You're going, okay, that's fine, that's happened to me, and look what I've done. I've just transformed that pain or that experience into something really creative and fun. I love the process, I really do, and I can really recommend that. Just started off writing poems originally many years ago, being in nature, looking at animals, trees, crystals or anything, and then just opening up to whatever popped into my head, just being very playful and not even watching what I was writing. It was the way we were taught. It's called the Zen of seeing. And you just allow something to come through, you know, your pen or whatever it is you're doing, singing, and then suddenly, you know, stuff will come in, and then you think, great, that's really a positive experience has come from maybe something that started off as a negative thought. And you know, I think it's a really good journey to take. You know, if you can't sit and meditate very easily, you know, it's much easier to perhaps just draw or paint or sing as well for some people.
Absolutely, I completely resonate with you as a singer-songwriter. It's that unexpected moment when the creativity comes, and it comes in a most unexpected way, sometimes in a most inconvenient time, sometimes. And it is so transformational, it is so healing. I just came to the realization that actually, you know, sometimes from the ego point of view, the artist will say, you know, what for I'm doing it? I would like a bigger audience. I would like to, you know, to people to notice me and all sorts of things, yeah. But then I just needed to strip that layer of me and say, actually, why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it helps me tremendously to lift me up and to realize that there is another way, because many of my songs are transformational songs. It's about the transformation. I want it or not, it is like, you know, one of the songs is a challenging day. I'm sitting in the darkness in an empty room and hearing all the voices whispering to me. And then the chorus would say, and the light will come again. And after that, it's like, actually, it was another challenging day and it's okay, you know, because the light will come again. And then, you know, and for me, that moment was a healing moment of millions, yeah. And when the same impact will be given to my audience, I don't know, you know, and I don't know if I will impact 10 people, 100 people, or a million people. I don't know. But the value of creativity lies what is the impact on you. And I think that many of people forgot about it, that actually, you know, we do it for our own transformation. We are our own healers. We have the power to heal, to change. And, you know, don't give it away to celebrities and people who are known only because they were discovered or found a way. We know the world on that level is also very corrupted. And I don't want to say that all the artists who are on the top got there through that path, but it is, you know, we do it because we need that transformation to happen, and it is one of the tools. For somebody else, it can be journaling. I started journaling again every morning. Oh my God, I feel at home again. It's like all those thoughts in my head are just popping out. And in the morning, I start writing for half an hour, and suddenly I end up for another hour having so much more clarity. And it has been a beautiful rediscovery, which actually happened a few days ago. I used to do it for a long time, and then I stopped. So it's wonderful just to do it for yourself and then see what service can come to the world. Yeah.
Thanks for that message, Magdalena. And yeah, and you know, just building on from what you were saying about the Wright brothers as well, and the flying and everything, and again, all the different modalities that we have, like the journaling and so on, and music. It feels like, and this is what the visionaries and the wisdom keepers are pointing us towards, that the future is collective, right? That it is more about this sort of collective consciousness. And so now it's not about, you know, a couple of brothers with a couple of maybe patrons who are, you know, sponsoring all their efforts with the engineering. It's actually about the people coming together in a collective and exploring and experimenting and creating and offering something in that more of a togetherness kind of space. And this is, you know, what this once again is really about. So, and you know, today we're experiencing that also chaos, and you know, we kind of had a program, and you know, we kind of didn't have a program, and we kind of have this peak moment, which is in about half an hour. but as I said, we're throwing at the same time everything out of the window and just seeing what happens. So in a way, we have no idea. And if we start adding more and more people, right? Like today, there's what is it, 6, 7, 8 of us. The vision is to have as many people as possible. Well, what happens if we have 100 people here, and how do we tame that chaos? And is chaos about being tamed? And this is once again what I would love to hear from our chaos expert, so to speak, in a moment. So we will move into this talk in a moment. Yes.
I had a thought about that. If you want to bring people from all different countries and tongues, and languages into a big circle like that, you could just do chanting, because it's so easy. And Magdalena, obviously, that from doing your work, because you don't need to, you can make sounds and you can raise the vibration without having to understand, the language of what you're chanting about. So that might be a really good way to raise the energy, especially.
Absolutely, I agree. This is a great way, and it always unites people. And everybody has a beautiful voice, beautiful in a sense of vibration. So that is fabulous. Yeah, I just want to say that because of the 15 minutes time before leaving and streaming to another platform through what we're doing, I need a little bit of writing to be done and prepare for that. So I'm going to thank you, all of you, one more time for your wisdom, and I would like, I will myself jump in and see what you offer. I'm curious. So wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day, and Alex, lots of love to you, and see you again. Lots of love.
Much love. And when you drop off, I will actually go and introduce, where people can find you and how they can join your
Yes,
event,
yes,
and
please.
what
Yeah.
that is going to be about. So have a great experience, and thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. I will be in a Earth Elders in 15 minutes with the transformation of the shadow with music and gene keys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Going back, Alex, if I may, to the lights, I think someone just said we're like switching lights on. And I think that's how we have to look at it, that every one of us who sees the mission of transformation for the world into love and peace, and in a practical way, because I think sometimes when people who don't understand that, they think, oh, that's that just kind of hippie, weird, woo-woo stuff. And I know, like, everyone here is going like, whoa, no, of course. But a lot of people do see it that way, and they shy away from the message. They don't believe in what we're doing. And I think that we need to be so bright that we illuminate the darkness in the corners of the room, as it were, and that people just, because they see the light, like you're drawn like a moth to the flame, they're drawn. Somehow we have to create a movement so that they are drawn to us, so that it just becomes, the light warms them. Now, I don't know how we do that exactly, but I mean, there are so many people I've met doing bits of this around the world. We just need to get them all here. But interestingly, I mean, I know, and Alex, you and I have talked about this, I know lots of people, but they're also busy, and they're all busy doing their thing. And somehow we have to get them to see, it's almost like, we all need charitable giving, right? So, there needs to be a portion of our time is given back to a platform like this, no matter how busy we are. So it's not just about our ego and I'm so great and I'm this amazing speaker, but it's that we take the time to shine the light. Like religious people tithe 10%, so we tithe 10% of our time to a movement like this, over and above what we do in our own worlds. I mean, we're all shining the light all the time. So yeah, it's interesting. So that's my feeling. But I see us as torches in the dark.
I love that. Some really great points there, and that's exactly the question. How do we accomplish that? How do we do that? And very much so about having these other pockets, all over the world, who are committed and serving the same purpose, and yet doing the in separate ways, in separate times. And we have so much more power and impact if we come together and coordinate. And we have started connecting, with other communities who are doing things. And actually, there's an event now in the UK that I know of. We haven't started the communication too closely yet, but in a few hours they'll be having pretty much the same thing as we are right now, right? And I know of another community, which is a Buddhist community, who are doing also collective meditations for Ukraine. And now I know also a Hindu community is going to have 3 events today for Ukraine, at different times. And like all of this is already happening, right? And so what can we do to, I guess, also step over some kind of barrier and hesitancy to start collaborating? Because, there are tensions, and they're, understandable. And there are certain, unclear potential scenarios how that could unravel. And it is kind of that chaos, perhaps, looking into the future. Well, what do we do and how do we do that? And so perhaps this is a really great point for me to jump in now before we move on to our finally conversation. If we
Can I
yeah.
share something, Alex?
Please.
I wanted to say that I love everything that everyone said, and what is coming to my mind now is the importance of us individually as well radiating our soul essence, not because we want to fix anyone, not because we want to save anyone, because that savior template, it's menstruating, and I love to use this word menstruating, but it has been menstruating for quite some time. And that's one of the paradigms that we really need to menstruate. Like, we are not here waiting for a savior, which obviously on a conscious level we are not, right? But we are all part of that template or that paradigm that has been bred into us, whatever background we have, because we can identify this this layer within even Buddhism and many religions. So we are not here to save anyone, but we are here to come into our soft power, to come into our radiance. And by doing that, we are inviting anyone, either we are in this container or not, right? Because we can just walk around and go to the supermarket. I mean, that's what I've been experiencing. I've been living in Egypt for the past year and 3 months. So I've been living in a small village, Bedouin village by the Red Sea, and just really taking in all the light and radiance of the sun and working with my own radiance and light. And then I came here to Europe during this time where the pain body of people are being activated through what's happening. And I was like, wow, what is going to be? I was like very curious. And I just want to add also, because a few of you mentioned also the messages that were coming to me when I was coming to Europe was water, and it was like the importance. The specific message was more about the waters of our sacred pleasure, and that's not sexual pleasure only, but the pleasure of being in the flesh, of being in the body, and just taking that moment to see the flower that it's blossoming, and the pleasure that that can give to the body and to the mind if we fine tune ourselves back to this wave that is in nature, which is chaos and stillness kind of blend together. So just to complete what I wanted to say, because I felt that so strongly as I was walking here in Budapest, and I couldn't feel the tension. I couldn't feel the pain body of people being activated through, Hungary was, not long ago, the Russians were here. So there was a lot of friends of mine told me there's a lot of feeling, the war is coming here and all of that. But yet, because I was holding that space within me, which I like to say, and that's clear what it came to me, is like, the war does not live inside my body anymore. You know, I can fill my mouth to say this because all the work I've been doing for years on myself, yes, war doesn't live inside of me. So when I walk around and I connect with people just simply by looking at them, I feel their response to me and how they mirror the divinity that is in me. So it's I feel like this is key for us in our personal lives and in everything we do. And of course there are days that that's not so strong because we are cyclical, right? So that would be days that, yeah, I'm feeling like shit and I'm actually irritated and whatever, I'm not going to connect with people in this level, and that's being a human. And that irritation or feeling like shit or going into my shadows, it's part of the alchemy. So then I can expand a little bit more into my radiance and then impact a little bit more of my surroundings simply by being me. So that's what I wanted to share.
That's beautiful. I just want to jump in there, so say that I read about the Footsteps of Light, which is a group in England that do walks, pilgrimages on the land, and they go to sacred sites, yes, but they do this mindfulness, just walking, and just there being an aware person who's living in the moment and has gratitude for each flower and each blade of grass they walk on and each bird that flies past them. That is a footstep of light. So just walking the land with intention is that way. Or you said about water, Ishtara, as well. And so yeah, that's something that we can keep coming back to, just being in nature and just being really aware that yes, we've had a bad morning, but once you get out there and you forget those things and you're in nature, you feel the transformation every day. It's a new day to do that.
Thank you so much. So yeah, and it is all about that sort of peacefulness within that seemingly chaotic, perhaps, environment. And yet, if we have that within ourselves, then the external will not influence us that much. And the question, of course, is how do we maintain that peace in all conditions? And that's again something that we can perhaps explore. And I'll now, because we have some of the parallel synchronized events starting, we'll briefly share for people how can they find them and how can they join them. And okay, or not. We have some, let's see, right. Well, that's where the chaos, I guess, also comes into the space, because I switched to a different browser at the beginning, and it seems like I don't have the permissions to share. So if yeah, and it's asking me to quit the browser to share. So there you go, chaos in fully fledged power. And if people are watching us or tuning later on, it's fairly simple. You can go to globalunityfestival.org and click on the festival, and then click on Wave 2, which is our European wave. Then you'll find all the current synchronized events there, and we have Magdalena with musical performance and sound healing. We have Veronica with a shamanic fire ceremony, and we also have Katrin with another sound healing event. And that's all the parallel events happening right now and leading up to the peak. And that's also an invitation. Ishtara will now, I guess, move into our conversation. But if you feel at some point drawn towards guide some practice, then feel free to do that as well. We can definitely do like practical experience here. So, okay, well, now let's move on to our focused conversation, and welcome once again Ishtara, and in a bit more detail. So Ishtara is devoted to reconciliation of Ma'at, a cosmic balance, the decolonization of the mind body, and to resurrect of the forgotten vast intelligence of our quantum biology and organic nature. So quite a deep and profound offering and journey there. And she's an oracle and spirit keeper of the womb mysteries and the ancient earthly and cosmic wisdom, guiding women and men back to their erotic innocence and bliss blueprint with ancestral reverence, healing, and womb consciousness. So welcome, Ishtara, and look forward to exploring and diving deeper into chaos. So feel free to just take the floor and guide it as you feel.
Well, I was actually contemplating, thank you, Alex, how actually I think there is a difference. Like I would like to begin by, yeah, like inviting everyone just to take a moment. Let's begin like this. Just to close your eyes. So if you're here live or you'll be listening to the recording, I would just like for you to take a moment and close your eyes, as I'm just gonna share from my own experience and wisdom the difference to me that chaos, it's that state, that the void that precedes creation, which is completely different than disharmonious or not coherent state. So in chaos, there is coherence, but there's potentiality. So nothing it's concrete to a certain extent. It's not manifested. So in a way, that chaotic state, it's like that womb field where anything can dissolve, can birth, can be created. So it's actually a state that there is harmony and balance, but it's unmanifested. So as I just opened this container for our conversation and practices today, I invite you to just take a moment to breathe into your heart and feel your heartbeat, or just feel your breath as you inhale and exhale. And just feeling your connection to the ground below you as you inhale and exhale. And then feel your connection to the ceiling or the sky above you as you also inhale and exhale. And maybe at this moment, there's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of images coming into mind. But I want you to kind of come back to that breath and to that connection to your heart. As you inhale and exhale and feel the floor holding you, the ground below you, supporting and sustaining you, as well as the sky above you, guiding and also holding you. Just inviting a stillness into your heart space as you witness any thoughts, any feelings, just coming into the center of your heart with your breath. And then just continue this for a couple of minutes as I just honor the ancestors of the land where I stand here in Hungary, in the Carpathian Basin. So I'm honoring all the ancestors that have walked this land before, as well my ancestors. And you might want to just connect with your own ancestors and with the land where you stand at this moment as you continue to breathe into your heart. Then just dropping your awareness a bit more into your body, into any sensations. So I also call into the space the elemental beings of the earth, of fire, of air and water, to also be in this container, as well as all the benevolent beings that are supporting our remembrance. They're supporting us to awaken and ignite the wisdom within us. You just take a couple more breaths into your body, into your heart, just witnessing what is unfolding in your inner currents, what it's moving within you. And then taking another breath and feeling the ground below you, the sky above you. Feeling your heart, the coherence of your heart, mind, and womb or hara for men. And then slowly and gently, in your own time, you might just come back to a more awakened state by maybe wiggling your toes or fingers, maybe rubbing your hands together. And now we can begin. Please, Alex, ask me questions also, but I just wanted to share for anyone here that the womb, it is for women, right? The area where the uterus is, but the womb is a doorway, right? We all came to matter from spirit through the womb. So it's a doorway that brings spirit into matter. And men don't have the uterus, but they still have the energetic womb that I'm referring here as hara, which is also 4 fingers below the belly button. And this is our core, the center, right? It's what connects us to all the wombs, right? Considering that, somehow we are in the womb of Mother Earth and the center of the universe, it's like, or the center of our galaxy, let's begin here. It's kind of like a womb hole, right? So just to keep in mind that when I'm referring to the womb, I'm not referring only to the uterus, but I'm referring to this energetic center that men and women have. Yes. So I wanted today to be not only a conversation, but something that it's more experiential, because I think we're so often in the mind, and we can speak so much about many things, and those are all mind concepts, which are great and necessary many times. But the most important is that we actually connect with that deeper wisdom, that visceral wisdom of the body, which is where we can actually experience the wisdom that lives within the flesh, within our physicality. So in the times that we are living, which are quite chaotic, and that's why we're going with this beautiful topic today, it's a time for transformation. And when I reflect about chaos, as I said earlier, chaos, it's not a state of disharmony, but it's a state of potentiality. It's a state of, as I said earlier as well, of nothing being materialized, like nothing, not materialized, but it's just pure potentiality. So in order to birth something, let's say, right, within this pool or this sea of chaos, then we need to bring order, right? So order will be the force that actually manifests what it's in the potentiality. So what we are experiencing now in the world is a big potential field of transformation, which is chaotic, right? Because that's the void that it's preceding creation, what it's new to come. So as we go, what I keep receiving in my work, in my my personal ceremonies and communion with Great Mother, with Spirit, is that as we go through our own alchemy, courageously going through, not denying, like earlier we were speaking, and it was very beautiful to hear, like, within the shadow there's medicine, there's wisdom. And if we just keep denying those aspects of us, individually and collectively, we are denying the gifts that stand behind that medicine, or that shadow, actually. So this times of transformation requires us to actually surrender to the chaos, to kind of lose control, to find ourselves. I want to just make sure that if you want to say something or add something, Alex, or ask something, so I don't go in a tangent. And if anyone else has something to share or to speak, coming to question.
I really loved what you were saying about the interrelationship between chaos and order. In a way, from what I picked up, order is the creation process from the potentiality of chaos, right? So in a way, it's not like they're opposites. Actually, they are somehow almost, one requires the other.
Yes, exactly. It's like the way I perceive and the way I experience is like the chaos. When we surrender to that unknown, right? We surrender in full trust that we actually are held and we are supported and we are guided. And this surrendering, it's like, it's primal, it's deep, it's in the body, it's not in the mind, because the mind will always trying to find problems, or will create problems, or will find problems to create solutions. So when we are surrendering, like, okay, yes, there's a lot going on in the world right now, there's a lot going on in my inner world right now, so can I just surrender to all that I'm feeling, to all that chaos, right, to all that potentiality that it's within my cauldron. So, I like to say we are full spectrum beings. We are meant to experience a full spectrum of emotions. We didn't descend from spirit to matter to just experience light and love. No, we actually came down to experience the full spectrum of emotions and to overcome and to create roadmaps for those. So let's say I'm feeling grief, right? This is a normal feeling. Let's say someone passed away. I'm feeling grief. Why should I deny it and suppress this grief? Oh, there's a war happening in the world, right? So I'm feeling grief for all the people that are losing their houses, they're losing their belongings, they're displaced. Okay, yes, I feel that. I allow that to be felt within my body, and I know that somehow that particular feeling is reflecting something that is inside of me. So like as I was saying earlier, I didn't say that, but I'm originally from Brazil. So I'm not from a country that really experienced war. But yet, war lived inside of me because I inherited that from my ancestors. You know, my father was from Transylvania, Hungarian. They were Jewish. They left during the communism. My great-grandfather died in the Holocaust. I had many family members that died as well. Well, I never knew about this, but yet I always felt somehow those things within me. And then, you know, in my 20s, I moved to United States and I lived in New York, and I got all sorts of experiences. And during that period, I was researching so much about the Holocaust and all of that, because there was something inside of me that was active, even though I didn't experience that at all. So then on my personal journey of, as I'm, you know, as you read in my bio, of ancestral reverence and ancestral healing, I've begun doing that process within my body, within myself, within my emotions to overcome. Why was I always melancholic in my life, you know, from most of my teen years and my 20s, not only because of the traumas and the things that I experienced when I was a child, but also because I inherited that from my ancestors. So I can't deny that and suppress that, because that's going to prevent, the way I see it, that will be preventing the wisdom and medicine that stands behind of that, let's call it grief or melancholy. I'm not so good with technology, so I just want to see, because some of you have been writing here. Yeah, the ego wants to keep us safe and secure and doesn't like change. Exactly. We have to transcend that impulse and go with the chaos of uncertainty. I love that. Isis, Isis, I don't know how to pronounce, but yeah, we have to like surrender to the changes, and changes comes with uncertainty. Yes. Yes, exactly. I love that. The buck stops with us. We clear the ancestral lines backwards and forwards. And that's exactly what this chaos or transformation through chaos is about. It's about rewriting the story and like setting things free, because that's the quantum field, quantum potentiality that we're living during this epic times. It's really about going through our own process, clearing, alchemizing, and then that it's rippling out to all backwards, I mean past, present, and future, as well as, you know, all the, I like to think about ancestral lineages, like far back, you know. And if we think about this way, we are really deeply connected to each other. Like if we go 30 generations back, or actually the original mother, right? I mean, I don't want to go in theories or go into this mental, but right, if the story, it's not as we were told, and actually there was an original mother, right, like the first birth that took place, we are all connected, right? So on that like literally physical level and bloodline level. So yes.
Thank you. And yeah, this ancestral theme is such a huge and powerful theme. And I had a feeling perhaps, you know, we could at some point, if you have some practices, guide one for us collectively today, which is perhaps more focused on kind of I guess clearing ours as well, right? But I mean, we can't do deep work in this context, but also bring in the element of the bigger collective, because we are here also in the space of, you know, uplifting the world with, you know, through our intention, because often when we step beyond just ourselves, it really opens up something more, right? It's not just about me, myself, and I, and my healing and my growth, right? It's really about the collective, and this is our space. So I don't know if you have something to bring about collectively that we could do. That would be great. And I was just wondering about this idea of surrendering, and one of the things, if we, you know, bring it to our lives, you know, we each have chaos sometimes that we end up in, right? So I find it challenging that sometimes when you're in chaos, you're losing reference points. You're losing kind of this idea of, you know, what is what and where you're going and what you should do, how you should relate to people around you. And so that's the two aspects perhaps that you could illuminate and speak to. How do we understand where are the reference points in the moment of chaos, and what exactly are we surrendering to, and how do we know what to surrender to?
Thank you, Alex. Yes, the ancestral work, I just want to comment on that because I might forget, but yes, that's extremely important. And our ancestors are so eager to support us, you know, in the work that I do. Almost every time I'm having a session with a client, always the ancestors show up to support that particular client, to rewrite the story, because I'm working with the womb work, you know, so we're going into that where the imprint, you know, as maybe I just share that, the egg that brought us to life was actually developed when our mom was in the uterus of her mom, and then so forth and so on. So it's going back to your own womb or hara for men. It can be very potent to rewrite those stories. So we'll do something like this later, just, you know, just to honor the ancestors, and for each one of you and anyone that will listen to the recording, like just kind of not befriend, but, you know, make that connection and then see what comes forward, because they're just really eager to support us, because as they support us, yes, we're doing that big clearing that it's present, past, and future. And, you know, I just want to say also, because we tend often to connect with the above and disregard the below, but that's extremely important, because the ancestors, they are on the below, you know. That doesn't mean that they haven't ascended and they're not light, whatever, but, you know, it's just this connection always going upwards and forgetting that down on the earth, in the ground, there's so much support, there's so much wisdom. So we'll go back to that after. Now, about your in regards to your question, how do you know to what to surrender and what do you hold on? I don't remember exactly how you worded, but I understood the question. How do you navigate chaos, you know, and you have that awareness? So to what you surrender? So you surrender to the unknown. You surrender, which is like, again, right? It's easy to say, but it's surrendering, I would say, the unknown in this context, you know, just to be clear to everyone, surrendering to your body wisdom. Okay, so let's not even call the unknown, but surrendering to descending to the body and leaving the mind a little bit, because the mind can be tricky sometimes, especially because we're often using just the neocortex. We're actually not using our cerebellar consciousness, which is more our shamanic brain, our, you know, where you know, like let's say our mother consciousness, we are usually going to different, you know, I'm not going to masculine brain or feminine brain because I really don't want those separations anymore, but it's just different part of the brain. So if I'm having to do certain tasks, I need to use my neocortex. But when I need to actually tap into that mystery, when I need to actually surrender to that field that holds me, or let's even call that quantum field, or surrendering to the guidance of, you know, spirit or great mother, or my ancestors, or the benevolent beings that I work with, I can't do with my neocortex. I have to do with other parts of my brain. So I need to surrender, and I need to let go the holding, um, um, the holding of controlling everything. And I need to kind of lose control to find the truth of myself. It's kind of, again, this sounds very vague, but this is why I prefer to do things on an experiential level, because on a mental level, it can be a little bit challenging to grasp. So, and what is that um, um, compass that we can use to actually navigate the chaos, or to navigate those waters when we surrender, right? And that's our you know, our core, our center. So connecting to, you know, to the center of the being, which is the heart and womb connection. Or we can even say, you know, the way, because once we are connecting with the heart and the womb, we're activating different paths within our mind, within our brain, and then we come into our center. You know, we can again feel that above, I mean below ground and above, and feel the center, feel that we are connected, we are supported, and, you know, and then from that we can just trust the process. Like what I've observed for myself and with clients is that when we are going through an emotional situation, if we try to grab and have control of it, we lose the potentiality of that emotional process. And again, I'm not going to say this if it's for everyone, okay? Because it depends if you have a, you know, perhaps some, you know, some more serious mental problems. It's just, this is more like when you are in the past and you have the tools and you have been working on yourself. So you're going through something that it trigger you emotionally, right? At first you have no idea what is that, you're very triggered, and if you go immediately on analyzing why you're very triggered, you might lose the true essence of that chaotic state, you know. So this is where the surrendering comes. So I surrender to feeling angry. Why am I angry? I don't need to know right now, but I'm angry. And, you know, as I allow myself to experience that anger and maybe connect with my body and question where is in my body I'm feeling okay, and then I've kind of surrendered, this is what I'm feeling, I'm not going to fix this right now, okay, I'm not going to hit anyone, I'm not going to create any damage around me, yes, for sure, but I'm staying in my center with my emotions, surrendering to the emotions that it's present. And then in that surrendering, I might actually lose some of that power that emotion was at first had, especially if it's anger or, you know, um, like an emotion that is not so pleasant. So I lose the strength of it by simply surrendering and like knowing that I'm angry because I don't know, something small happened, but I know that there's something behind of that. So I'm surrendering to that feeling and giving the space for the alchemy that that holds to come online. So obviously this is not a simple process, you know. Well, it is a simple process, but it's a process that requires a little bit of understanding of yourself, you know, and a little bit of um, uh, yeah, a little bit of like some tools that you can navigate. You know, you can also have support from someone else, but the key point is that we must learn to not, oh, okay, I'm feeling sad, okay, so let me do something positive, let me play some music, let me like just change it up and feel good again. No, you're feeling sad, there's something there. Surrender to that feeling, surrender to that chaotic state, because it's preceding the creation or the expansion. Like, I like to use that analogy. It's like it's a contraction and expansion. When we look at nature and the cycles, it's not always expanding. There is a time of contraction, and when we are contracting, you know, if we surrender to that contraction, the expansion will be larger than where you were before, because you're actually going deeper. So to not get carried away, just want to see someone have wrote here some things
No, they were just saying, Lisa was saying that she had to go
to
to
go.
tend to
Okay.
horses. And
No, but Isis said that she left. I don't know how you pronounce that in English, but Jehovah's Witness, because I woke up and saw the repression of believing Eve was the original sinner, and therefore curse. It was a crystal clear in that moment that I could no longer be part. Yes. So yeah, that's another very big conversation. So don't get me started on that, because you know, like this is part of a big disharmony we have it in the world. It's based on those religious beliefs that you know, that women came from the rib of Adam. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense, right? That Eve was, you know, the sinner. So all of those paradigms that are meant to keep us away from our power, to keep us away from our center. So that it's also being menstruated. So about the ancestral work, Alex, how much time more do we have? So I also know.
well, I mean, we're kind of playing by the ear here, and we
Okay.
can move into the practical stuff and move to the completion. We would normally finish 15 minutes ago, but as I said,
Aha.
we're kind of
Okay.
playing,
Yeah.
going with the flow.
Yeah, so
And
let's move to the practice then. You know, there was a lot of things being shared. So I'm just gonna, yeah,
I
do
want
a
to
yes.
just reflect from what you were saying. What seemed like a good takeaway here is that when we are in, you know, chaos, whatever that means, you know, whether that's some external challenging circumstances or anything like that, there's the alternative that you mentioned, you know, just distract ourselves, go to play music, you know, kind of make ourselves feel better, which isn't a bad thing, right, in itself to do. But I guess the difference here between surrendering and going and making ourselves feeling better, the difference is in if we want to create something new or if we want to stay in a way with the familiar. Still nicer, positive, more comfortable, but the familiar. And so that surrender into the chaos is that opportunity to bring in something new, to birth something new and create. That's what I took away from myself in a way.
Yes, that's beautiful, Alex. And I want to say that I don't mean that if you're not feeling happy, you shouldn't make yourself feel better, you know, but it's just to clarify here, quite often, you know, there's a pattern. So if you're always feeling some sort of thing, you know, it just changes, you know, from time to time. That's clearly there's something that needs to be addressed, and just putting some, you know, uplifting music will help you at the. I'm just giving you an example as uplifting music. So no, I'm not encouraging people to stay in the sadness, but I'm encouraging people to inquire that ability that we, not that ability, but the gift that we have when we are in this human form, to have a full spectrum of emotions. So I might wake up in the morning feeling sad and, you know, disappointed, and I don't know exactly why, but I'm feeling this way. And actually, if I just distract myself from that instead of inquiring a little bit, why is that happening? Oh, you know what? I remember why. Because I was supposed to do that and I didn't do it. So this is where this feeling is coming from. So it's kind of getting to know our inner cycles and our inner rhythms and honoring and surrendering to them, and like trusting that chaos, it's not a bad thing per se. Chaos, again, is that state that precedes, is the void that precedes creation. So I was very hard on myself because, you know, I was for the last couple of years always having situations that were quite chaotic. And then I understood, you know, that actually with one of my teachers, I understood that that's my, like, this is the potentiality, you know, this like chaotic state. Somehow for me, it's my playground where the potentiality exists, you know, for something to be birthed. Now, do I want to keep continuing that just because I learned to thrive in difficult situations? No. But do I understand that, you know, journeying through chaos, which is what is relevant right now for the collective, because we are in a little bit of state of, you know, of chaos, is to understand that it's a holding a container for our rebirth. And this is exactly what it's happening, right? Even if we're going to touch upon the war, which is something very sad, to also speak about that it's not only in Ukraine that are, you know, somehow war taking place, because there's other countries as well that it's not so often spoken about. But that horrible situation is triggering majority of people to come more into compassion. So people that wouldn't really reflect much, like here in Hungary when I arrived, there's so many places there are, you know, that you can drop clothes and things to, you know, to help the Ukrainian refugees. So yeah, that coming into union to understand that challenges bring us into challenges will bring us more into our center and our core, and the chaotic state of the world right now is just part of this beautiful divine, I don't want to say plan, but it's part of this beautiful divine potential of, you know, of the birth of a golden age and our individual rebirths. So with that being said, I'm just gonna invite you guys to, yeah, find a comfortable position, and we're just gonna take a little journey. It's not necessarily a practice or anything, but it's just a little journey for you to connect with your body, to connect with your core, to connect with your center, and to connect with your ancestors. So ideally, you want to have your feet touching the ground, or if you want to lay down, however it's comfortable for you. So let's just take a moment to connect with your breath, and just a gentle and soft breath as you feel the air entering your body and you feel the air exiting your body. Just inviting your mind to descend down to your body as you just scan your body for any tense areas, any stagnant energies, any chaotic feelings. Just witnessing what is present within your inner world. Just riding the waves of your breath. And then descending to your heart space. Just feeling the air entering your belly, your chest, as you connect to your heart. And surrendering to the waves of your breath. That could be a great way to begin this journey of surrendering. Just inhale and exhale. Just surrendering to the air that enters your body and exits your body. As you connect with your heart. Then I want you to imagine a beautiful silver and golden thread. It's coming from the center of your heart and descends down to your beautiful womb or hara. Just imagine this silver golden thread descending down, passing through your solar plexus, down to your abdominal area, and then all the way down 4 fingers below your belly button, where your womb or hara is. So here, you're gonna breathe and inhale, feel your belly rising, feel your womb and hara. And just feel this golden silver thread that connects your heart to your womb or hara. To now come to the center of your womb and hara as you breathe here. Just receptive to any feelings, any thoughts, any sensations. And you might just feel, be receptive to an ancestor. And that could be a blood ancestor, or it could be a spiritual ancestor. So just be receptive to any images that might come to your mind when you feel into your own ancestry. As you continue to breathe and feel the rise of your belly. As you continue to breathe into the center of your womb or hara. And see if this ancestor has something to share with you. Perhaps an image, a gift. Just be receptive as you continue to connect and breathe into your womb or hara. And then as you breathe here, I want you to also feel your interrelation with the earth, with nature, the trees, the rocks, the animals. And just feeling yourself part of this beautiful web of life, where all your relations are connected. Everything weaved and weaving together in this web. As you continue to feel into your womb and hara, receptive, just feel yourself part of this beautiful web of life, this organic web of life, where everything is working in harmony, where chaos and stillness merge together. Birthing, rebirthing. Just feel your connection to the waters of the planet and all the sea beings within the oceans, the sea, the rivers and lakes. Feel your connection to the sun, to fire. Continuing to breathe in your womb and hara, feeling that heart connection, that thread that has descended from your heart to your womb or hara. As you feel your connection to the celestial realms, to spirit, just feeling the cycles of life merging, being weaved within your own cycles, and how you're part of this beautiful tapestry, this ancestral tapestry. Because not only our human ancestors are part of this tapestry, but also the waters, the mountains, the trees, the plants, the animals are also our ancestors. You just feel and be receptive to your ancestry, whatever that might be for you at this moment. And as you continue to feel and surrender to this interrelational field within the web of life that connects you with everything in creation, just imagine this silver golden thread now rising up to your heart from your womb or hara, creating an infinity loop of flow of energy that flows from your heart to your womb or hara, and from your womb or hara to your heart. As you just stay breathing, feeling this connection, Feeling this union, feeling this weaving. And if it's right for you, you might call again an ancestor to come forward, or you might tell your ancestors that you are here to rewrite the stories, to alchemize the wounds and the traumas, and to blossom in the wisdom of the gifts and the wisdom that is present within your DNA. So we're just going to stay in silence for a couple of minutes as you continue to feel this union between your heart and womb or hara, between your womb or hara and your heart. As above, so below, as within, so without. Just surrender to this union. Surrender to the pulse of life that pulses within you. You can ask yourself if you can surrender a little bit more to this union, to this interconnectivity. With your breath, with your body. If you can surrender deeper into the union of your heart and womb or hara. With the union of your spirit and your matter. Receptive. Then, as you continue to feel into this union, perhaps you want to radiate this union simply by allowing the joy or the bliss that you might feel as you feel into this union, as you awaken that innate state of union. You may want to just radiate, allow that union to shine out through every cell of your body, radiating out your interconnectivity, stay with this radiance and this union between your heart and your womb or hara. Just shift your awareness slightly to your feet, into the ground below you. Once again, feeling your ancestors and the foundations, all that came before you. Feel that below grounding, supporting you in this journey of remembering. And then just breathe into the soles of your feet as you feel the support there is for you on the earth, on the ground. Surrendering to this support. Surrendering to the gravity from the center of the earth, from the womb of Gaia, that pulls you down, that invites you to be in your body, in the flesh, to open up the bliss gateways within the body. Beautiful. And then just feel now the sky above you, and your connection to spirit, to your higher self. Surrendering to the guidance that comes from the skies, from the celestial realms. The guidance from all the planetary alignments, all the astrological alignments that are taking place. Just receive the support from above. As you breathe into your crown chakra, your masculine crown on top of your head. Beautiful. So now very gently, I'm going to invite you to stay with your eyes closed and just bring your palms in front of your heart without touching. So very gently come to the front of your heart and just feel your palms longing to come into union. Don't let them touch just yet. You just feel that magnetic pulse, that longing from your right and left hand to kind of merge into union in front of your heart. You just feel as you just take a last breath in feeling that infinity loop between heart and womb or hara, between the sky and the earth. Just feel that longing to merge, to come into union. Then whenever you're ready, in your own timing, just taking the space to feel that longing, to feel that electromagnetic field that you have generated and now you have in front of your heart with your hands. And whenever you're ready, you can just merge your hands, but just feeling in your body that merging, that coming together. Then you can just take your time to then gently rub your hands together. Maybe touch your face or any part of your body. Whenever you're ready, you can just gently come into open your eyes and to a more awakened space or state.
Thank
And I
you.
guess if you want to share something, you can share in the chat. And then you can bring this container into a closer.
I just wanted to ask you about the music, Ashtar.
Oh,
It's so beautiful.
mm?
It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'll share the name
If you could,
here.
yes, thank you. It really helps with taking you into that special place, I think.
Oh yes, music, it's everything for me in my work. So this is the name, the Jazz Money in the Garden. Yeah.
Thank you. And your voice blends really well with that particular track, and it was just elevating. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, I would love to hear if you actually got to connect with an ancestor, or if at least you got to feel that union between your heart and Hara or womb. Yeah.
It was very calming, and it feels like I would want to just go in the nature and be now, and doesn't feel like there's necessity to bring words to the space again. So, and I love the connectedness with, the nature and the different aspects of it. And I think that's what really gives us that opportunity to honor it, and that would allow us to step into that more uplifted space if we were present to that connection deeper. So thank you.
Yes. Okay. Well, so
Aline, anything that you would like to share from your side?
Yeah, I truly appreciate it, that time of just be present with everything that we are. And I think that it's a practice that we lack nowadays, just the ability to be present with all that we are to the world, and to welcome all of that. And I think it's very, very nice to practice that. Thank you so much.
beautiful. So thank you so much for being here and for connecting and for sharing. And yes, I love what you said, both of you. Just going out and connecting with nature and just being part of nature, because we are, right? And that's I think what we need to really remember, is that we are nature, and nature is within us, and we are constantly dancing in this chaotic and stillness state, in the cyclical way of being. So I also need to go to the bathroom. So, so I think it's time, yes, for us to close the space. Thank you so much. And yes, if anyone is interested in knowing more about my work, I don't know how we, 2 hours, well, you're welcome to connect with me. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ishtara, for being in the space, and everyone else as well who were directly on the stage and viewing or tuning in later. And that is really the core of the vision, for us to come together at the beginning of our month and just be in that state of connectedness and presence. And so it serves like this pulse that carries us from month to month and reverberates further, not just for ourselves but beyond. And so I welcome everyone to come back on the 1st of May to join our next journey and the next experience. And thank you so much once again, everyone. Have a great day and look forward to connecting with you again.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.